Your game coming out of college, I saw your summer league, and dog, I was like, I didn't even know Draymond can move like this. Like, you was hitting hezzies, like step back threes, like getting to the cup. Like, I'm like, dog, he really got an ISO game. Like,
I got a little bit.
And then, but nah, it was crazy, bro. You got to look up, watch his summer league clip. He going crazy.
Draymond was doing ISOs.
Draymond doing ISO. He doing shit that I didn't even know Draymond could move like this. Interesting thing you brought up though, because a lot of guys are talented, but when you're put in that position where you come into the league and you got to find your niche in order to get on the floor, homie, listen to this as we talking about it, because I went through the same situation when I got to Indiana. They plugged me in a corner and I had no involvement on plays, nothing. I wasn't touching the ball unless it was getting swung to me. And I had the open shot because I didn't shoot it well my rookie year. But I took the same approach. The only way I'm going to get on this floor is if I play defense. For you guys, you being and you having Steph there, you having Clay there, like when did it click that, like, oh, we got something special. If I lock into this, I'm going to be our toughness. I'm going to be our facilitator. I'm going to make the game easy. Because like I said, you had the game to be elite scorer and getting your own shot off. I seen it. But you had to make that adjustment. When did you like, you know what, these dudes are elite shooters. I'm going to do this, and that.
You know, one thing, it was very interesting for me in Summer League because when I was doing all of that stuff and I had all that, I was coming off the bench. And so I'm like, this is interesting because what I'm going out here and I'm providing and I'm doing and I'm playing at a very high level, coming off the bench. So that's where it started. Then as we get into the season, Mark Jackson told me the day before our first game, he was like, hey man, I just want you to know this stuff has a weird way of playing itself out. And like, you always get an opportunity. Everyone will always get an opportunity. Just make sure you're ready for that opportunity. Not sure when that opportunity is going to be. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but just make sure no matter what the opportunity is, you're ready for it. And so I would immediately start getting thrown in for defensive possessions. And I'm like, all right. And I remember when they first drafted me, when I first talked to Mark Jackson, he told me, he was like, listen, I want the guy coming here that I've seen at Michigan State. You lead, you toughness. Like, we need toughness on this team. I want you to come here and be exactly who you are. Don't take a back seat to nobody. Don't do none of that. Use your voice. Be tough. Be exactly who I've watched all of these years. So, like, number one, he gave me confidence. And that was huge. And it'll be funny how confidence is a very funny thing. It gave me confidence to be that. And I'm like, all right, so cool. So then I'm like, I'm just watching Steph and Clay and them play, and like Steph's coming down the court, and I set a drag screen for him, and like what he did off the drag screen, I'm like, that was interesting. Gonna set another drag. And it got to the point to where I'd be running down the court and like I'll just veer off like I don't know, just veer off crazy. I look crazy out there just running, veering, trying to go set a screen for Steph. But what I found was his ability to play out of a screen and roll opened up. But what it opened up was me in the pocket. And what I found was my playmaking through that. And I quickly realized that David Lee was incredible. David Lee was scoring machine, can score the ball left hand, right hand,
all-star,
mid-range, off the dribble, you name it. D. Lee was getting to it. And I didn't quite feel like I was as good of a scorer as him. And so I'm like, all right, once David Lee gets hurt, well, I can't come in here trying to score because I can't score as well as David Lee at this point. So if I go in there trying to score, then I'm just a lesser version of what they already have.
Smart.
So my mindset wasn't to go in there and score. My mindset was go in there and do everything that David doesn't do.
Got you.
Right? So I'm going to go in there and lock up. D. Lee ain't playing no goddamn defense. I love D. Lee. That's one of my OGs. I love D. Lee. D. Lee ain't playing no defense. I am going to run and screen like nobody's tomorrow. D. Lee gonna set a screen, but D. Lee gonna set that screen to get him open. D. Lee ain't setting that screen to get you open. So I'm like, I'm gonna go screen and I'm gonna get these guys involved differently than D. Lee does, because D. Lee is going to score the ball, and he's a hell of a passer. But he's averages like 3-4 assists a game because that's not really what he's focused on doing. He is focused on putting that, as he should be, he's focused on putting that ball in there. And so I'm going to go get these guys involved like nobody else is getting them involved. And so that was my mindset, but it was just totally off of trying to do something different than he does. So if I can go do this, they won't compare me to him. They won't hold me to the standard that he's held to as far as scoring the ball every night.
Right.
And I can just bring my own thing. We start having success. And once we start having success, this is now really into my third year. Steve takes over. And that's when it really opened that up. And once we start having success, I'm like, all right, I need to do more and more and more of this. And then I start having my own personal success. Right. And it all just blossomed. Now I'll take you to another space though. As that continued to blossom, then we have our success, then KD comes. My individual game as far as scoring and shooting suffered. Because then that became so much of what they wanted me to do. The shooting wasn't a priority at all. It's like, and so then I started being called and viewed as a non-shooter when in fact I shot 37% from three. Like, I remember, shot shit out the ball. Right. And no one was just helping off of me. Right. But then I started being like spoke to and viewed as a non-shooter just because I was doing so much to get those guys involved. Right. And in turn, I lost my confidence. And so I lost my confidence in my shot. So how many listen to this too? Don't ever lose your confidence. Like, but I lost my confidence in my shot. And, you know, I'm trying to get K involved. I'm trying to get Steph involved. I'm trying to get Clay involved. In my mind, I'm thinking like, man, Steph came down and hoisted 3 crazy shots. And because he did, Clay just came down and hoisted one from half court. And next time he came down and hoisted one from the other side of half court. And by the way, it's been now 8 possessions that Kevin hasn't touched the ball. So I catch the ball and I may be in a position to shoot it, but I'm like, K ain't touched the ball. I need to get him a look. And just making, that's the point guard in me, just making sure everybody touched the ball. But it really took an impact. It really had an impact on my offensive game and especially my confidence and my mindset. Because then once it was like, oh, well, those guys are shooting the ball. So our non-shooter, and it's like I'm being mentioned as the non-shooter, start to believe it. You know, as great as it was and it has been, and I wouldn't change it for a thing in the world, it had a negative impact as well because it, you know, it, like I said, I lost all confidence. Like, and also, you go in the gym and shoot with me right now, P. I probably
knocking that shit down.
You know, knocking that shit down. With you, but I'm gonna shoot the piss out the ball. But getting back over that hurdle. From the confidence perspective, I feel like I just started getting it back like maybe last year. But it's still a process.
But what people don't understand either is basketball and shooting is such a feel rhythm thing.
Absolutely.
If you get 5 shots in a game, like you ain't gonna know if it's your night or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't know if you shooting well tonight or not. Like you could miss 3 threes and be like, damn, like, I'm struggling tonight. Nah, bro, you just shot 3 threes. Like,
you always tell me it's
next
hard
3,
to
you could be money.
Points.
But it is tough when like you do have pressure of having 2 of the best with KD there, 3 of the best 3-point shooters around you. So like it comes a time where it's like, Draymond, swing that. Like you. So that's pressure. It is pressure.
100%.
And people do not understand that. So
it's crazy.
I'm glad you spoke your truth on that because you was a knockdown shooter. And I know like on 2K, I'm hitting the 3 with Draymond. Like